Hello and welcome to this quick revision guide for psychology. So this revision guide is part of a set of videos that are designed to help you review and recap some of the core ideas from using GRAVEDS to make evaluations in psychology. So GRAVEDS will help you in evaluations of psychology studies. It helps with evaluating psychological research methods, but please do remember that GRAVEDS is not used to evaluate theories in psychology. So just use your GRAVEDS points to help with identifying the strengths and weaknesses of the studies that you've covered and the research methods. So in this short revision guide, we're going to have a look at the use of internal validity. So in our first point about internal validity, we're going to have a look at the idea of task validity. So this is in relation to the tasks that are used to test the participants in any particular research study. And it's regarding whether or not that task has what we call mundane realism. So is it a realistic reflection of the kind of tasks that you would do on a day-to-day, average, everyday basis? So for our first example, we look at Milgram's obedience studies. In this particular set of studies, the participants were instructed to give electric shocks to the learners for incorrect answers to questions that were presented to them. So this is a lack of mundane realism. In most situations, we would not be giving electric shocks to learners when they get incorrect answers. Therefore, the lack of mundane realism will reduce the task validity of the tasks that the learners were asked to do during Milgram's study. The second feature of internal validity is looking at what we call construct validity. So this is whether or not the study actually tests what it sets out to test. So does it really fully measure the aim of the study with the way in which the IV and DV have been operationalised and put into action. So for our example here, we can look at Watson and Rayner's study of little Albert, where they conditioned an emotional response into Albert for a fear of rats. So through the presentation of an unconditioned stimulus, which was the banging noise on the metal bar, pairing with the neutral stimulus of a rat, they were accurately able to test the conditioned emotional responses that little Albert developed as a result of this. So this particular study has high construct validity. They were able to implement classical conditioning and actually test what they set out to test, which was whether or not they could condition that emotional fear response into a child. So that brings you to the end of this quick revision guide about the use of GRAVEDS in the evaluation of studies and methods. So it will probably be useful for you to now review all of the core studies that you've learned about during your psychology course and check you're happy with your use of internal validity, both task validity and construct validity, and how you've worded those and put them in place for strengths and weaknesses that you've given on those studies. Once you've had a go at that, have a look at the remaining videos to help recap and revise the remainder of GRAVEDS.